Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today this is going to be a bit of a different video. Whereas the videos that I usually make on this channel are ones where I find an article and I think that it's worth discussing, and then I make a video where I talk about it. I read the article and then I give you guys my thoughts about it. And usually, of course, I do the occasional television and movie reviews. But today's video is going to be a bit different. Today's video, we have some leaks from for the latest for the upcoming chapter of Dragon Ball Super Chapter 59, I believe, if I could be wrong. And we got some leaked images, so I do have to warn you right now. Even though it's kind of ironic, though I already have the leaked images right there, but I do have to warn you that this is going to contain spoilers for the chapter 59 of Dragon Ball Super. So if you're not okay with that, please click off the video. And for anybody who is still here, let's get on with the video. And before I get into the video, as always, I do have to remind you that if you like my content and if you want to support my content, please consider clicking on that like button, sharing this video, commenting on the video, and probably more important than all of them is to subscribe. Okay guys, I check the analytics every single day, and I notice that most of the people who watch my videos are people who are not subscribed to my channel. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. This channel could really use your support. Help me get this channel to 1,000 subs so I can get this channel monetized, and then I can take that money, put it back into the channel, and you guys can get some better, higher quality content. Now, with all of that finally out of the way, let's get into these leaks and what I'm sort of like. Is it going to get me excited for the chapter, or is it not going to get me excited for the chapter? So let's get on with it. Now we can see right here from these panels. By the way, this comes just from Dragon Ball Hype. Shout out to Dragon Ball Hype. Go follow him on Twitter if you haven't. He doesn't just post the possible leaks from the upcoming chapter of Dragon Ball Super. He also posts other things that lets you know what's going on with Dragon Ball. Over in Japan, like he gets news straight from Japan. So if you want to know about what's going on in the world of Dragon Ball, go subscribe to him on Twitter. So thanks to him, we've got these pages. So here you can see in the first page, you can see we can definitely see Moro and Goku are going to fight. Now we already knew that from the previous chapter, but we didn't know exactly what's going to happen. So here we go. You can see the fight right here. Okay, according to these panels, you can see Moro sort of using his energy to restrict Goku's movements, mostly his hands and his feet. Now this actually makes sense because one of the biggest advantages of Ultra Instinct is that you get to move. Your body basically moves on its own, and if you can restrict their movements, then you pretty much have them at a disadvantage. And this to me is very interesting because it's once again cements that Moro is a bit of a credible villain, because he's a villain that's a lot like Majin Buu, where he has all of these hack abilities, like more than just like the raw power and the brute strength, sort of like a Broly and Jiren. He's a villain that has like these abilities that give him a sort of an advantage. Think like Majin Buu and Cell. Both Majin Buu and Cell had their regeneration ability. Like they can, first of all, they can just grow back any limbs that they lose. Even if, like we saw with Cell, you lose the entire upper half of your body, and you can just grow another one back like it's nothing. And in order to take him down, like you had to literally destroy every single cell in his body, no pun intended. And that's what Gohan ended up doing in the at the end of the artificial humans arc. And then we went to Buu and we saw him, and he had all these hacks abilities. First of all, he had that insanely durable body, the near limitless stamina, and the fact that he can just regenerate from anything, literally anything. And it took a spirit bomb from the energy of every single human on Earth, including like the Saiyans and then Mekian, and and it took that much just to finally take him down. And now we cut to Moro, who has his hack abilities, and you can see it right here. Now, here I'm guessing, like just from the way these are drawn, I'm gonna guess that it goes in the order of this page, then this page, then this page, then this page. Excuse me. Now, over here on what I'm suspecting is going to be the number one out of the four, you can see Goku and Moro getting ready to fight. You can see an establishing shot right there. Goku, of course, gets into his stance. And then, of course, I'm guessing somewhere in the chapter we cut to this page where we see Moro restricting his movements. And then we cut to this page where it's interesting because if you take a closer look at the page, okay, zoom in right here. Sorry, I can't zoom in right here, but look over here where the mouse is pointing. You can see Moro. Now he's got all of this energy around him. Now, if you look closely, the energy kind of looks like the energy that surrounds Goku. Now, what I'm predicting is Goku probably did something that's a lot like what Broly did to him in the movie. If you guys remember the movie Dragon Ball Super Broly, Goku used a technique to sort of restrict his movements, a technique that we've never seen before. And it sort of reminded me of the Force from Star Wars, where you can use the Force to sort of restrict someone's movements, like you can hold them down. But then what was interesting is we saw Broly sort of reverse that technique on him to where now Goku's movements were restricted. So I'm wondering if maybe Goku did something like that here, to where Moro's using his energy to restrict his movement. So I'm wondering if maybe Goku is now reversing it back on him, to where now Moro is now trapped and he can't move. And you see he does this little spin, and then he fires a Kamehameha wave. And then we don't know what happens later, but we cut to this page where I'm guessing not a lot happens. But because you can see Moro is just like he looks like he wasn't he doesn't look like he got any damage whatsoever. So I'm guessing either he ended up absorbing more energy, which ended up sort of healing him, or the attack didn't really do anything whatsoever. But we don't have to worry so much, because thankfully we do have a bit of an English summary. Now I don't know if this came to us from Dragon Ball Hype or if someone gave this to him. Now okay, as you can see, page 1, which I'm guessing is this page over here, it says, Moro didn't expect Goku to be able to use the technique of the gods. Both get ready to start the fight. Now, just a minute, I just want to talk about this for a bit. The whole technique of the gods thing, that to me doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because if he's using a technique of the gods, or if this is the technique of the gods, then how is Goku using it? Goku is not a god. Like, okay, yeah, he can use God, like divine energy, that's true. He can use God Ki. But he himself is still immortal. Like, he's not a god like Beerus or Shin. Like, he's not a god like them. So how can you call it the technique of the gods, or a technique of the gods, and yet Goku can use it? See, that's just something I don't really get. Anyway, moving forward to page 2, which I'm gonna guess is this page over here. Moro realized that fast movement is the specialty of that technique. Following that, Moro seals Goku's hands and feet to prevent him from moving. Now, yes, that is indeed true. One of the advantages of Ultra Instinct is that your body is capable of moving and reacting on its own. So even if there's an attack that you yourself can't really see coming, your body will sense it and it'll move for you. Now on to page 3, which, like I said, is probably is this one. You can see they say Goku spins around and attacks Moro with a Kamehameha in his ultimate form. We didn't really need a summary. I mean, you can clearly see that just from the pages right there. Now on to page 4. Now this is the interesting part. Moro says that energy can make Goku unable to move, so that he can eat it slowly afterwards. As Goku wonders about the meaning, Moro smiles. Do you even believe that this was my full power already, you fool? Jaco asks Piccolo what Moro said and repeats. Oh, okay, so I'm guessing like in this page right here, yeah, because Piccolo is a Namekian and the Namekians like have the incredibly good hearing. So Piccolo obviously heard what Moro said, and then he just repeats it to Jaco, and then we can see Moro powering up right here, which of course what it says over here. Okay, so those are the scans for just this one. Now don't worry, don't go anywhere. We've got more. Okay, so again, I do have to warn you that from what I've seen, we're about to get into a pretty big spoiler for the chapter. So again, if just one more warning, if you want to avoid, like, this is a spoiler I would highly recommend you avoid. So there's your warning. Now let's get into the next bit of scans. Now we can move over here. Let's start with this one. Okay, so in this page we can clearly see Vegeta's on Yardrat and he's still training, and doesn't look like he's it's weird because it doesn't look like he's anywhere near done, because I always thought like maybe he'd be done by now. Okay, so we can see a clear picture of Vegeta on Yardrat. Moving on to the next picture. Now we can see, now unfortunately for this we don't really have a summary from I don't know if it came from Dragon Ball Hype or he got or whoever gave him the English summaries, but you can see here like the others are just sitting back and watching. Okay, for this is weird because Android 17 and 18 look like they're fine, which is weird because in the previous chapter we saw they were pretty banged up and their clothes were all torn up, and yet here like you can see their clothes are perfectly fine. I think there's, I don't know, like maybe someone healed him, maybe Piccolo gave him like a new set of clothes. I mean, we know he can do that. Hello, clothes beam. So I don't know. Maybe he did that. But the thing that I really want to talk about is, first of all, I do appreciate the paneling. Like, it seems like this page where one of the weaknesses of Toyotaro that I noticed when it comes to his manga drawing is the way he structures the pages. Like, his paneling always just seems, like, his pages just seems busy. Like, his paneling could use some work. Like, it's definitely nowhere near on the level of Toriyama. Like, Toriyama, he just had this ability to just make the page flow beautifully. Like every panel perfectly leads to the next. Like it never feels like the page has any unnecessary panels. Like he just felt like he was a master of paneling when it comes to comics. Anyway, another thing that I kind of just want to talk about is I don't like the fact that Gohan, Piccolo, and 17, because 17 was shown to be like insanely powerful in the tournament in the TOP, and yet here he's just been relegated to another side character. Like I don't like this. I don't like the fact that even Gohan is just relegated to somebody who's just watching from the sides now, and it's just I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's just anyway. Moving forward, okay, so you can see a panel. So you can see Gohan and Piccolo reacting. I'm guessing they're reacting to the fact that Goku is now, like the fact that he can use Ultra Instinct at will, and also I just noticed this just now. I noticed this. Look at the way this is drawn. Now I know people are probably going to complain about this because Toyotaro seems like he has a habit of drawing a panel like from this angle, and it's always the character that's on the attack is always in this same position, and like you can see the way the impact hit the impact marks where like they show you like this is where a hit came from, like you guys know what I'm talking about, but for some reason it's always it's always like it always just feels off. Like, okay, for example, look at this, it's right in the middle of the air. Like, why wouldn't it be somewhere on Moro's body like this one, and yet it's right there in the middle of the air, and it's just that you can see some impact marks right here right in the middle of the air. Like, I don't know what's that supposed to tell you. Like, did Goku like kick with his feet with such force that it propelled him forward? But that doesn't make sense because he can fly. I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know why Toyotaro keeps doing this. Anyway, okay, moving forward to the next page. Okay, so we cut to Beerus's planet, and we can see Beerus, okay. I'm wondering if anybody else caught that. You got Beerus. Anyway, so we got Beerus on his planet. He's fishing. I'm guessing that they're probably like pondering what's going on right now. I'm guessing Beerus is probably explaining to them. Whis. Again, I'm sorry, we don't have any translations. I wish I did, but we don't. I'm sorry. So moving on to the next page, we can see, okay, so this is Goku. Now, this is interesting because Goku, look, his hair is back to normal. So he fell out of Ultra Instinct sign, as they call it, the Viz translation, but or as we like to call Ultra Instinct Omen, but now it seems like he's going back into Omen, and Moro looks confused. Now I'm guessing just by the way the way all of this is structured, I'm gonna guess that Moro, like, he fell out of Ultra Instinct Omen, and then Moro probably thought he won, but then Goku, like, he gets a smirk like Goku usually does, and he goes back into Ultra Instinct Omen. Now I'm guessing Moro thought he had him beat, but like Goku says, no, I don't, and he goes back into to Omen. Okay, so I'm guessing this is, okay, so this is the last page now. This was actually the scans that I want to cover before we got into the one that had probably the biggest spoiler of the chapter. So again, this is your very last warning. The next set of scans that we're going to discuss has some pretty big spoilers. So again, I'm sorry, but I just have to give you one last warning just to make sure that you are okay with spoilers. If you're not okay with spoilers, this is your last chance to click off. Your very last chance to click off. If you stay after this, then it is of your own choosing, okay? There's your warning. Let's get into the last one. Okay. Now we see from this chapter. By the way, this is a pretty good panel. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give Totaro props for this. So both Moro and Goku, like they both strike each other simultaneously at the same time. Both of them in the gut, ironically. But from the way it looks, it seems like Moro's hit is a bit stronger than Goku's, because if you can see Moro, like he doesn't feel that he doesn't feel that much reeled back after the impact, whereas Goku, like you can see the look on his face, like he looks like he's almost about to like he looks like he's about to pass out just from the hit, which, by the way, if you've ever been hit in the gut, you know what that feels like. I don't blame him. Okay, so moving on to the next panel. Okay, so you can see Goku got a kick. Okay, so we've got more of the Goku versus Moro fight. You can see Goku kicking Moro away. Moro, you can see him reeling back from the other hit. Goku going after him, and Moro doing what we've seen him do before. He raises his hand up, and I'm guessing that's where the beam of energy like shoots out of the planet. You know, the one we've seen him do, and Goku throws a punch. Moro catches it. Goku then goes in for a strike. Okay, now you see. Okay, sorry, just to take a moment here. This is exactly what I mean when I said that Toriyama was a master of paneling, to where his panels feel like they perfectly flow from one to the next. Look at what's happening here on screen. I'm sorry, I know I'm sort of pausing the discussion on the scans to sort of give a bit of an art critique. I'm sorry, even though I'm not really an artist, and yet. So I guess take my words with a grain of salt. So this is just my observations on it, if that even means anything to you. So we can see Goku throwing a punch and then Moro catching it. Now this panel flows from these two panels perfectly flow. Like this panel flows from this to this. You can see a flow from here to here. But then look over here. You can see Goku throwing a kick. Now what I mean by it not having a flow is that this feels like it's happening completely separate from this, even though it's in the same fight. I'm saying the way it's paneled or the way it's drawn, that's what it feels like. If this was Toriyama drawing this, if he was drawing, let's say Goku goes in for the punch, and then next he goes in for the kick. If this was Toriyama, he would have probably drawn it in a way where Goku goes in for the punch, and then in this panel you see Moro blocking the punch. But first of all, it wouldn't be so close to Goku and Moro. It would be, first of all, you would, take for example, you would zoom the camera back up to where you would actually see Goku and Moro's bodies. But not only do you see Moro blocking the punch, but you would also see Goku like bringing back his leg, like getting ready for a kick. You would see that in the second panel, this one right here. I keep aiming at the camera, like I keep aiming at the screen like I've got a camera on it, but I forget I don't have that. But just okay, in this panel you would see Goku winding back a kick, and then it would flow into this panel to where you would see Goku throwing in the kick, and then you would see these marks basically, except it would be in the same in the arc of the kick. If that makes sense. Like, do you see, if this was Toriyama, I'm guessing just from reading Dragon Ball's manga, and even the Dragon Ball manga, and if you go back and you look at the Saiyan arc and the Frieza arc, which I think is where the Dragon Ball Goku, Toriyama's work was probably at their prime. If you include Dragon Ball Z, I don't know, I haven't read the original Dragon Ball manga in a while, but if you go back and you look at the Frieza arc and the Saiyan arc, you'll see that that's what Toriyama had always been a master of, especially when it comes to the fight scenes. Like, he had a way of just having the action perfectly flow. Again, I keep saying that, but that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of important when you're doing a fight scene. Like, you need to make it look like it perfectly flows from one panel to the next. One of my biggest gripes when it comes to fights in comics these days, not just in manga, but in comics these days, is that the action doesn't feel like it flows. It feels like you're just watching like different parts of the fight. You know, and I think the reason why the fights in Dragon Ball have always been so, like they've always been so loved by people who just read the manga, is that it felt like it perfectly flowed from beginning to end. You know, and when there is a break in the fight, like Toriyama would make sure to show that, and then of course the fight would start again, and then the fight would perfectly flow from beginning to end again. Like, except it doesn't feel like like you're watching two separate events. Like, first you're watching Goku throwing a punch against Moro, Moro blocking it, and then it feels like some stuff happened in between, and then Goku goes in for the kick. And then you see Goku going in for a kick. Like, it's just, again, that's just what I'm sorry. I know I took a bit of a break for a bit of an art critique. I'm sorry about that, but let's get back into the manga scans. Okay, next one. Now this is the big one. This is the biggest one that I wanted to show you. Moro got the W, or at least that's what it looks like from this. Moro got the W. He got a hold of Goku, and he completely absorbed his energy. Now, that could be what happened. I do have another interpretation of sort of what happened, and I'll get to that. But let's just talk about this. It seems like Moro grabbed Goku right here, and he completely absorbed all of his energy, and now he's got him, and it seems like Moro's completely won. At least that's what it looks like from the screen. But now there's nothing here to indicate that this was like the last chapter, because if this was, I guarantee you that this would probably happen at the tail end of the chapter. Either this is happening at the end of the chapter, or it's happening midway through the chapter, and then like something else happens for the rest of it, to where it possibly ends with Vegeta finally make it back to Earth. And it seems like we might finally see Vegeta getting a W. Finally he gets the W over the major villain. Now, I said that I had another interpretation of what might be happening here, and that's this. Okay, so you can see Moro absorbing his energy, Goku falling out of Omen, and then you can see he's got some scuff marks around his face. Now, going back to another panel that I showed you guys right here, this one specifically. Look at Goku right here. He's out of Omen, and he's got the scuff marks around his face, and you can even see Moro. He's standing there and he's got this energy around him. Now, let's go back to this. And you can see Moro right here standing with the same energy around him. Now, what I'm guessing is that this happened before this. Is that Moro, because look, Moro looks confused, because I'm guessing Moro thought he probably won. Moro probably thought he won after he did this. Like that said, Goku doesn't have any more energy. Like, what's he gonna do? And then Goku, of course, comes back with the smirk. And now I'm guessing, again, I can't read Japanese, I'm sorry. Now, what I'm guessing, just judging from this, is that Goku's telling him, like, you probably think you won, but you didn't. And then he goes back into Omen, and Moro, of course, looking confused. Now, again, this is just my interpretation. I'm guessing this is what happens. This happens, and then this happens. And I'm guessing this is, no, not this. And then this happens, okay? That's sort of my interpretation, and I think that's it. Yeah, we've covered everything, unless there were more scans that he put out that I didn't. No, okay. Those are all of it. Now, that is all I have for this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Does this sort of make you, like, what are your thoughts on what's happening just on the scans that we've seen? And if you are someone watching this and you can read Japanese, please let me know in the like if you can read what's happening here. You know, on second thought, don't say what happens in the comment section, because that could contain spoilers for or technically the entire video was spoilers, and I already warned you about the spoilers. So you know what? Okay, but you know what? Actually, no. Just in case, don't leave what happened. If you can read Japanese and you can translate it to English. Don't say what happens in the comment section down below, just in case. Okay, because when the actual chapter comes out, I'll read it, and then I'll give you guys sort of my interpretation on what's going on. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know again your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, I have to remind you that if you like my content and if you want to support my content, remember to like, share, comment, and more important than all of them is to subscribe. Okay, help me get this channel to 1,000 subs, please. This channel really needs your support. especially because YouTube these days, for some reason, I keep hearing that a lot of other big YouTubers are having problems. Like their subscribers are not really getting notifications, like so they don't know that they post new video that they posted a new video, so they can't watch it and they don't get the watch time that they need, and they probably don't get paid from the ad revenue. So please remember that. Help me get this channel to 1,000 subs. This channel really needs your support, and to all of the people who have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. If you're by any chance watching this in the future and you've subscribed, thank you so much. You are awesome. You have no idea how much I appreciate your support, and that is all. And I really hope you guys join me on my next one. Bye.